Hey there, Mike here with the Feeling Twisty podcast. I'm really glad you're here. And I'm so excited to have back Alessandra Filippi, my dear friend over on the West Coast. Alessandra, welcome. Welcome back. I'm excited that you're here.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. I'm honestly, it's such an honor to be here with you. It's so much fun and it's so funny. I already feel like I'm on this performing. I'm so excited. So I'll relax and I'll even let go a little bit as we play.
Yeah, I get it. Uh, I mean, I started in radio 25 years ago. And sometimes, even when I do this, I feel that surge, that
Yes.
excitement of a little bit of nervousness,
Isn't
which,
it wonderful though? It's so
yeah,
fun.
I think it's a good thing to for me. It preps me. It's like, all right, there it is. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
I use that as the launch pad. So
yeah,
uh, I'm still at ease. You can be at ease and still notice that
yes,
a little bit of nerves isn't a bad thing. I think it preps you for the show, for this new baby that you're about to give birth to on
yes.
camera.
It's like the energy wants to move and play. You want to go somewhere. And so it's
Right.
in this moment of, ooh, what's going to show up? What's going to show up? Woohoo, we get to see what shows up.
Yeah. So we think that in the manifesting world, we think, oh, I'm feeling, we can't feel nerves, that we have to be like completely laid back. But uh, I don't know. I just, you can choose to use it. You can say, you can sink into the like, oh, I'm feeling it again. Here comes a panic attack. Or no, say, no, this is it. I'm prepping myself. Everything's geared toward this next performance, this next recording. It's all a friend of mine talks about it. We talk about it all the time. Well, what about this? Why am I still feeling this? And it's well, stop saying that's a bad thing. It's
Right.
use it, use that. It's a great
Yeah.
launch pad to spring out and get what you want and get it done.
When I did Alexander technique many years ago, and I remember my Alexander technique teacher talking about Elvis and how he would get really nervous and his legs would shake. And
Oh,
so now we know that that's what he used for, he's like, shake it, shake it, shake it. That's how he
yeah.
allowed his self to shine. He, instead of fighting against his shakiness, it made him a star.
Use that. I love it. That's so cool. I never knew that. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything can be used. And I say this all the time, it's two sides of the same coin. The idea, or this thing that is, I can say this is a bad thing or this is great. I don't have it or I do have it. And when you say you have it, then what's going on right now is exactly what you need to get there.
Yeah,
It's all
absolutely.
it's about perspective and instead of dropping, worrying about how to do it, like here it is right here. Yes or no, on or off? Which way is the toggle switch? Off, on. It's on, baby. I'll catch
Yeah.
myself sometimes uh, in the store or doing dishes, and I'll be thinking about something, and then I'll catch myself. Mike, it's on, baby. I just remind myself that and keep
I
going.
love that's fantastic.
Now, speaking of something that's on and it's fantastic, is Find Your Voice, the podcast, your podcast. How long have you been doing that? For about a year now?
I think I started it 2 years ago. I've been doing it a
Oh,
bit on and off, but it's yes, it's Find Your Voice with Alessandra, and basically it's I love what I've discovered with my own practice of being an opera singer and performer and a voice teacher. I've realized that all of these techniques that I've learned as a professional, I can break them down for people, for everyday people.
yeah.
You don't have to train to be an opera singer, but
Yeah.
everyone has their own unique voice. And sometimes I have students and they'll say, "Oh, Alessandra, I wish I could sing high like you." And I would say, "Well, but I can't sing low like you. You have a beautiful mezzo voice, or you have a great baritone voice, or and I'm different. I have my own voice and you have yours, and maybe they overlap in quality or range. But what I what I discovered is everyone has more potential than we even realize. And it's really, it is limitless. And that's what, when I was studying, I always knew there was more than what I was giving in my voice. And I didn't know how to do that. And so I kept searching, and I, through different teachers and stuff like that, I found someone who really helped me kind of unravel my thinking, or my perspective, and helped open up this whole new world for me. And it also became this very, in a way, it became a spiritual practice for me,
Wow.
because I was like, this, I have to do this, it has to be this way. And he would say, let go. And I'd be like, what do you mean? But but when I realized, just be present in the moment and kind of let go of my ideas and concepts of like what I could do or being right, even with singing, oh, this is right, this is wrong. And then I realized, oh wow, everyone can do this on their own, in their own way, in their own level, or their own, with their own desire, of singing. If they
Yeah.
want to, everyone has more voice than they realize. And I found that it was also very, there's the whole psychological, aspect of it too, because I think we just talked about how, yeah, in third grade, this teacher said this, and then it kind of
Mr.
shut you down.
Cruz. Mr. Cruz, you listening? I'll never forget you, Mr. Cruz. Yeah, he said I auditioned for the chorus, and I was so excited, and I did the little bit. I think it was Don Gato, Senor Don Gato was a cat, meow meow meow. You ever heard that song? You,
No, but it
he
sounds,
broke his solar plexus. Ow ow ow.
oh
Yeah, he fell off the cat fell off a roof. He was a player anyway. So I sang that, and Mr. Cruz
no.
quickly says, "Mike, go to the back and just lip sync." And I was crushed. And so since third grade, in most of my adult life, I clammed up. I wouldn't sing in church. I wouldn't sing on stage. I refused to do musicals. Yeah, I've refused to try. I think I'd be perfect for you. I'm perfect. I'm a perfect student for you to crack this shell.
Well, it sounds like you're already singing and you already have cracked it yourself. So
I
that's
sound good. I think I sound good. And when I sing into the microphone, there's a slight, just a microsecond delay to the headphones. So I harmonize with myself, and I love it. I'll sit here. So, in fact, before you logged on, I was sitting here just singing into the microphone.
uh
Because that harmony, it's beautiful. Whether it's off key or not doesn't matter, because there's this other voice coming through here, and it's my voice, but uh, it's perfect together.
I love that. Yeah, so in the podcast, I often will take examples of, what I experience in my lessons with my students, and, things that show up, their surprise, their amazement, their delight, their aha moments, or just encouraging people to explore and let yourself sound bad, or what you
Right.
would sound
Yeah.
bad, let it be messy. And, you know, I think oftentimes we don't start because we're afraid of what's going to come out.
Well, I know. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah. And it's so, who cares, and obviously we do care, but so oftentimes I'll tell people, go in your car and just make sound, and just like let yourself get, it's almost like go in a place where no one else can hear you, where you don't feel like you'll be judged by others. We're of course we're feeling that, oh, I'm going to be
Oh,
judged. no one's
sure.
no
Right.
one's specifically doing that necessarily, but it's that feeling of, oh my gosh, who's gonna hear me? And so we tend
Yes.
to, hold back, or be scared. And so I just like to create a safe space for people to just play with their sound. And then I really love su- surprising them with what they can do, you know, um, and with their surprise, it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know I could do that. We had a Find Your Voice masterclass recently where it's a program that I created, and Grant actually helped me so much creating this program, and he
Love Grant.
participated, yeah, in it. But it was so touching to me because one of my students didn't want to, be a great singer or anything like that, but he wanted to feel comfortable with his voice as a speaker, feel more presence, more command, more, I think he, at first when he reached out to me, he's like, I like this person's voice. And I was like, okay, that's really great. This person is established and known and has a deep voice. And I was thinking, well, you have your own unique voice. It's
Yeah.
we often will, people will often want to sound like someone else, and it's really about, it's nice to be able to draw on, oh, I like this sound, I like that person's voice, and but to know that you have your own unique voice
Yeah.
is so, and that you can draw upon other singers or other speakers, and you can draw upon their abilities or their, you could feel into those for yourself. But what was so touching to me was at the end of the course, he was like, wow, I like my voice now, and I know how to command.
Ah, yeah.
And to me, that's the greatest compliment and the greatest gift, because that's who we're really wanting to please, is we want to feel good about how we're expressing ourselves in the world and
Mhm.
how we're being received. And I love that you're like, I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going to sing, and people can, and yes, that's what we're here. We're here, as 20 says, we're here to sing our song,
Yeah. I
and
it sing it. I can't help it. And I got over, I used to care. I used to start singing. I would try, and then I'd be by myself, and I'm halting and like what was that? Was that right? No, that's not right. And how do I know if that's right? I don't know. So why am I judging? I'm deciding that it isn't right, when no one's around me, because I bought into the idea that I can't sing. So I never tried again.
isn't that what I've noticed about that is, when I went to Eastman, which is, it's still named the best music school in the country. I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty incredible. But what I noticed is in schools, and I'm not knocking schools at all, but there is this experience of the teachers are wanting a result. They're
Right.
like, okay, I have to produce this production, and even in third grade, that's crazy. Okay, this has to be, um so I mean, you're in third grade, the teacher should be, should say, okay, let me show you how to do this, because
Right.
you know so they're very results oriented, and they're not really about the process and letting it be about the process. And when I was in school, I was like, okay, I have to be results oriented, and I have to get this, and I have to do this, and it was so um inhibiting. I mean, that
Yeah.
was it's no one's fault, but it's kind of the system can set it up that way, especially at that level where it's about results and this high level of excellence, which is wonderful. But if you're wanting to just explore your own process and allow your own development at your own rate, it doesn't always lend that. It's not conducive. excuse me.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, I had to unlearn and be more process oriented. And now it's like, I find that I enjoy I enjoy the process of it so much more sometimes than the performance is fun. But the process, it's like, oh, this is how I'm feeling in my, head resonance here. And oh wow, this I'm open and wow. Because for me, it's like this surge of opening of myself, when I'm singing, when my voice is in full gear. It's like this presence. And I love whatever, whoever you are and want to do with your life. It's like tapping into that part of you is so powerful,
Hmm.
because so anyway, as you could tell, I'm hogging the conversation. I'm getting
No,
really
this
excited
is this
talking
is
about
about you. This whole conversation is about you. So you should hog the conversation. I get it. Everyone gets enough of me. I
oh,
talk plenty. This is to have others shine, and share their
well,
story. But
it's
I know what you're talking about though, because it's the same. Some may not think this, but when I would write a news story, produce a news story, I get that excitement of the creative process of the idea of a news story, getting the interview, and then taking this and editing it, and then writing what I'm going to say, and then putting it all together. Uh, and even when I do the podcast, Feeling Twisty, or on Bitchin' Over Biscuits, that it's everything is a little. I get that same excitement for the birth. Every episode I do here is my new baby, and that's when generally my favorite episode is always my most recent one. Look at my new baby, and it's the same way with news. Every hour was a new newscast, and that was my new baby I was giving to the world, this birthing process. That's the way I see it, and
I love that.
it's this excitement. So while I don't know the difference between my head voice or my throat voice or my belly voice, I do understand that thrill of from germination of the idea, this to the all the way to the birth of it. Because really, once you do it, it's over. It's everything leading up to it, putting it all together and developing it. And I mean, the performance, like you said, and the birth of that, the newscast, the podcast is wonderful, but it's that getting to it and like,
Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
real quick, what is the difference between because I hear people in American Idol, the coaches, they talk about that's your head voice. And so I don't understand that. What is that?
So your chest voice, so they're different resonance. Um, they're different ways of articulating it too. But so in classical singing, we would talk about the head voice. It's like ooh, 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 it's like ooh,
Okay.
like a little kid is like ooh, 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 ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
head voice, or for guys,
Okay.
falsetto. And then the chest voice is more where you're speaking from, bop bop, like
Bop, bop,
here.
bop, 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 bop,
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. And then there's the middle voice, which is even more speaky, I would say, where it's kind of, so you're combining the chest and the head voice. And so you're mixing, it's kind of like a mixture. So they all play together. And so it's really fun to explore that. So uh, you know, lately I've been doing stuff like achoo, to let people feel that resonance here. Achoo! Or
All right, let me
if
try it.
your voice achoo.
Sure. So I don't have to go falsetto. I don't have to,
You don't have to.
but is that where the head voice is? The
Yes.
higher it's okay. Achoo!
Yeah, there you go.
Head
And so
voice.
do you feel do that again and feel into the your
I gotta
and
act it out.
yep.
Wait, I gotta. Achoo! Yeah, feel it in here. That
Yeah.
that that's interesting. I've never paid attention to that. I've never noticed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, would you?
Right.
But um it's fun. I used to say this a lot. Like I would notice that singers, a lot of really good singers are just can be really loud, just loud in general. They're uninhibited because they haven't held back, and they're not um holding themselves back, and so things are just very awake and alive in their nasal resonance. Achoo! Woo! Just feel like ooh, or so. But you'll just hear people um speak with so much presence, and it's kind of like you could just keep giving that life and sustaining the sound, you know.
Hmm.
Should we do a little voice lesson, Mike?
Yeah, this is fun. I'm
um,
enjoying this.
hmm. So you could do well. Where do you like to sing from?
My
Or
mouth.
okay, perfect.
Sorry, smart
Yeah.
ass. Uh, I don't, the higher pitch stuff I don't like. And that's what I don't know. But what's most comfortable is basically about where I talk too, right?
Yes. So now I'm hearing your chest resonance.
Yeah.
You speak so beautifully and presently, with so much presence, and so
Thank you.
you can feel like I can feel your chest resonance engage your chest voice. You're not speaking. Excuse me, I'm a little dry. You're
Mhm.
not speaking from your throat, which is good. We don't want to speak from our throats.
Right.
As I
I know how that feels. I've done that, and I've done that when I've been nervous, and
Yes.
this is tight. The chest is so tight, it has to come from here, and I feel it, and then my neck starts to hurt. I
Yes.
I recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I hear so much clarity and resonance when you speak. It's beautiful because you're
Oh.
very. And my teacher would say, to let the sound move forward, and that's what you do when you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
let it move forward.
So
Okay, so what now what?
okay, so you
Yeah,
want more?
let's do it.
Um. Okay.
Just a quick one, a mini one to give people a preview of what they can experience.
Well, I like to do a lot of. I did this with 20 in a interview too. The beep beep beep. So say bop bop bop.
Bop, bop, bop,
Nice. Bop bop bop.
bop, bop, bop,
That's beautiful. What you're doing. It's so clear. Beep beep beep.
beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, there you go. And so that was more your upper register, but it
Yeah.
it wasn't I want to say hooty. You had everything engaged there. Like it wasn't just whoo, right? Beep beep beep.
Beep, beep, beep. Now that felt
Yeah.
higher. That felt like it was higher up, more of the
Yep.
head.
Yeah. But it was still rooted, I want to say rooted in um you started it was still I want to say it's still in alignment with your chest voice. When you went
Mm,
down, you were easily able to let that.
this is
I want to
fun. I'm so excited.
know it's fun, right? You could do to feel the breath, like a V.
Do it again.
But like say V.
The
And
the
let the really vibrate. That's a little bit like an F. Do it's tricky, maybe weird. I
and
don't know.
then bite it, bite my lip.
Do Z. 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 There you go.
So for those, and I'm going to schedule a class with you because
Oh.
I I love musicals, and I look back at the times I did stage live theater, and I always grabbed the non-singing parts, and it always I was always like, that's just, oh, I just want to be in a musical, you know? And uh,
You totally can, Mike. You
yeah,
totally have
I can do it. And
it.
it's because I bought into the idea. You can't sing. And so I believed it. Uh, it's crazy. You look back, that was third grade. I would have been 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old. I'm 50, I'll be 54 this year. Look at so many years where I bought in the idea that I can't sing. Isn't that
Well,
crazy?
it's I hear that all the time, and what I even when I'm thinking about that now, it's like someone's saying that to you, and literally your body has this reaction of going inward and kind of shutting down is what
Yeah.
I is what I get when that happens. I mean, I've when I would get different rejections, it's like you know, um that it feels like death in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
A little bit of
so
your dream crushed in the
yeah,
moment. Yeah.
but then we could say revise it, or just like I like to just feel people loving your sound and loving your voice, and how good that feels. It's like, oh, you're blessing people with your voice.
Mm.
Maybe you're making them laugh. Maybe
Right.
you know
Probably.
there's some people who are famous singers who don't necessarily have the most beautiful sounds, but they
Sure.
touch people and they move people. And so that's another way I like to
Oh,
encourage people
yeah.
to feel
Yeah.
from there and let the sound emerge from that sense of, I have something to say, just like you do with your podcast.
Right.
It's the same thing that you can channel for your singing voice, or how you want to, and finding songs that feel like you, or that you want to
Right.
embody, you know, just for fun.
Yeah. I'm thinking about that, you know, we love American Idol. That's one of my favorite shows. The new version, this new, not with the old cranky judges, but the new ones. And it's those singers with the imperfect voices that I just love.
Mm,
It's because they're imperfect and they show you can tell a story with the song without having everything perfect, having a crack in your voice, or
yeah.
now I will say though, a singer that can hit a note and it's so perfect, I start to cry and I can't help it. And I don't know why I do that, why my body responds to it, but it'll be such a perfect note. And I'm just start weeping at this song, not just American Idol, but anytime I hear it, I'm starting to tear up thinking about it. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a high pitch, but it's some songs, some notes just get me, and it's like, oh, wow. I
It,
love that response my body has to that. I don't understand it, but I love it.
it is so powerful, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
incredible how, music, sound, people, voices, we can touch, so far away from this amazing experience of the, how that person is expressing. And um yeah, it is really incredible.
And you're one of them. You've
Oh,
brought me to tears. It's
oh,
so you're one of those singers that and that's what I guess what I love. I just love music. I love music. I love the imperfect voices. I love the perfect ones. Uh, it's just so much fun. But let me ask you this: when you, because you're a soprano, you've been all
yeah.
over the world. You came from Berlin. We know that love story that moved you to California. What brought you to the point of wanting to be a teacher, to share this with others?
So it's actually really fun because one of my friends from Eastman, she's a trombone player, and she was my very first student in college when I was studying voice, and I was a performance major. We had to do a pedagogy class, which is learning about the anatomy of the voice and how to teach it. And we had to have a student work on, to work on
that's,
to
that's
work
me.
with.
We got to work on him.
To work with. And so I had, I think that's what, when I first worked with her, I was like, oh, this is fun. But um, so throughout my singing and performance career, I always taught as well. But and it's what's fun is I regarding this friend, we lost we not, I don't say we lost touch, but she's in Germany still, and we just got reconnected. And she's now I invited her into my voice students group after all these years, and again, just for fun, and because she's my friend, I'm not expecting her to take lessons from me or anything like that. I when I first started teaching years ago, I think I realized that, okay, if I want to get students, not everyone's going to want to be an opera singer. So I need to kind of make it more
Oh,
accessible to
right.
people. So that was kind of my first thought back then. And of course, throughout time, because have changed and have had my own experiences with singing and performing, and my teaching would kind of change a bit or just evolve. But I think I feel really strongly that everyone has more ability than they know, and if you have a desire to express it, then it's there for you. And so I like to, and I also realize just how integral it singing is with your being, with who
Yeah.
we are and with the way we view ourselves. And so I really enjoy bringing that out in people and just being supportive in that way, and feeling their fulfillment. And like I
Mhm.
said, I love the aha moments of people. And because sometimes I will see someone and I can see them saying, oh, I can't do this, and I'm like, no, yes you can, I can help you. you know so
Yeah.
it's kind of like uh feeling like a mother hen in that way.
Oh,
it's it's just kind of fun for me to. And I also, what I've noticed about, uh, not to toot my horn, but
toot it. Toot that
what I
horn, girl.
what I notice is, it doesn't matter if like, I love working with people who are at a high level and who, I can hear the technical stuff and I can be like, oh, just do that, let's do this, and let's. But
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah, but I also love people who don't necessarily want to be singers, but just want to feel, maybe they're speakers, or maybe they want to have more command in their workspace. And I or even little kids. Like, I have some students um who just want to sing, and I love, like, let's do this. So there are all these different ways of play. For me, it's like engaging with different kinds of people at different levels in different ways. And I feel like I can relate, I can help. I want to say I can help anyone.
Yeah.
you know but but it's but but it's just, it's fun because it challenges me to um go within myself and say, okay, what does this person need, and how can I help them? And sometimes what I noticed years ago was, I'd be like, okay, I have this agenda, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then you show up in a lesson and it's like completely different, because the person's like, wait, that's not what I want. And so
Mhm.
it's, what I like to think of is, okay, I show up, you show up, and we just see what shows up. And so
Yeah.
there's no pressure. There's just, let's have some fun.
I like that. show up, I show up, you show up, and we'll see what shows up. So how can for those interested, because I know we all have that part of us that wants to sing out. You would think that, I mean, I've spoken to thousands of people and I have no problem being on a stage with, a coliseum full of like 5,000 people. But if they asked me to sing in front of that 5,000 people, that would have been terrifying. Isn't that funny that, some things that I have no fear in talking to people in front of people, but I have to carry a tune. I gotta, that's find the beat. So there are people like me out there that are sure of themselves in some ways, but then you mentioned singing, and it's like, oh, and it may not be about singing. It's maybe we just want to let go of that part of us that wants to like clam up. And you would think that I wouldn't. I talk about this all the time about the power of the imagination. And I'm not as bad as it's not like it used to be, but that clamming up. But
It's so normal.
so how do these people get in touch with you to get rid of this, to open this up, to let their light shine, their vocal light? How do they
um,
find you?
singwithalessandra.com. I have my website there. You could also, yeah, I think that's my email address as well. Sing with Alessandra. Um, Gosh, I think that's my email address. Singwithalessandra.com. Find Your Voice with Alessandra is my podcast. Yes, and Alessandra's singing on Instagram. So, but you could message me. I'm also on Facebook, Alessandra Filippi. Is this enough, Mike? Am I doing okay?
Keep going. No, you're great. And I'll put the link when you confirm what your email address really is. I'll put it in the in the notes below the video.
Perfect. Perfect.
I
Yeah.
recommend if for those who haven't heard the podcast, I recommend it. Even if you don't want to sing, you've got great tips on there that just it's a great way to start your day, to listen to it and kind of shift the way you're thinking about yourself and about the world. So I recommend it even for the non-singers or the singers who, if that's not what interests you, her podcast is still great because there's life lessons and life tools in there that apply to everything. I love listening to it.
Oh, thank you so
And
much, Mike.
I don't listen to a lot of podcasts,
You
but I
know,
really like yours.
I'm so honored that you listen to my podcast.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Yeah. And that you enjoy it. That's high praise. So thank you.
well, shoot. Thank you for that. But yeah, I get it. It's exciting to hear when
I was just
anybody
to love that.
says that they listen and they like it. I'm like, oh boy, oh boy. It's fun. It's fun to hear that. Alessandra, I said half hour, but we went nearly an hour, three
Oh, did
quarters of an
we?
hour. Isn't that crazy? I love
I did
this.
this.
And this was a lot. I knew it was going to be fun, but I love it when it's more fun than I thought it was going to be. In
I love that.
and my favorite part was the little lesson, just us talking. You don't know the thrill I felt when you said you could tell the chest voice, you could hear the difference and where I'm coming from. I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah, well, and
right. So thank you.
well, yeah, you're welcome. And how, that's another thing is we already have this intuitive sense of ourselves. And I think it's also about trusting that, I think
Yeah.
that's a beautiful part of this experience is trusting yourself to allow that voice to emerge. I like to say, let it reveal itself to you, you know?
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Ooh, I love that. And I think if people notice, like me, I don't even realize I'm singing. I'm humming a tune while I'm doing something, and then I realize, catch myself, like, and then I just keep going. It's when you
Love
can
that.
relax that and let it reveal itself, it's fun. And then you start not caring at all. You're just humming and singing anywhere you want. I'm now that guy, the crazy looking guy with the long hair and the beard at the grocery store that just singing to himself.
I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, and I know I'm going to have you back on. You always
Oh,
have. You're a wonderful guest, and you've got this wealth of experience. Because I want to have you back on to talk about I want to talk about opera. I want to talk about your experiences in different cities and in that career. It's exciting to me.
Oh, well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here, to be with you, and to share. And you just, I love you so much, Mike. You're
Oh,
just so feeling twisty is the best.
new theme song. And
Theme song.
maybe, yeah, not sometime there'll be, I'll do a Feeling Twisty musical episode. The whole thing will be sung. That would be fun
Oh,
to write
I'm
it. Actually, we could produce it, choreograph it. I'm getting ahead of it,
cool.
but I just love musicals. They make me want to dance when I'm watching them. That's my favorite form of entertainment as far as movies go. Give
I
me
grew up on musicals, so yes.
what was your first?
Oh my goodness. Um, I think my first musical was 42nd Street,
Ooh,
which was really fun. But my parents, they took us to so many, and it was such a such a wonderful opportunity for all of us, and all of my siblings and I cherish that. And
yeah.
a, a really quick funny story is when I was auditioning for Eastman, which again was, it's like the Harvard of music schools. And my dad went to Harvard, and he's now passed on. But when I was auditioning for music schools and really serious about this, he would say, "Now, how did you get interested in this?" And I put my hands on my hips. Is that the right term? Yeah. I put my hands on my hips and I was like, "Dad, like that
You did
is
it.
your fault," because he and my mom, exposed us to so much music and so much culture, and it was just such a beautiful, beautiful gift and legacy that my dad gave to us.
Hmm.
So
I think it's important to get your kids, expose them to things like that. There's so much if we can just take the time to watch a musical or take them to. I say if there's ever live theater in your town, in your city, go to it, even if it's
yeah.
the little theater, community theater. Uh, it's fun. It's exciting. I love a good musical. My first one was Hello Dolly in
Ah,
Galveston at an amphitheater, at the Lone Star Amphitheater. We were eating barbecue and watching Hello Dolly on stage. And I fell in love with musicals then. I was probably 7 years old, 8 years old,
oh,
ever
that's
since.
fun.
Okay. We can keep going. We're going to keep
I
going if I don't stop. We'll make it a 3-hour episode.
know.
Thank you once again. Give Grant my love.
Thank you so much, Mike, and give your whole family ours.
Will do. And thank you all for watching and listening to another episode of Feeling Twisty Conversations. And keep an eye out for another episode of Feeling Twisty Podcast. And check out the website, feelingtwisty.com. I love you.
Love you. Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Mike.